Hi everyone, welcome to the Corvette America booth. My name is Oddy. I'm with Detroit Speed. I've been with the company almost 10 years. Just to give you a quick background, we've been in the Camaro business since 2001. We do a lot of suspension upgrades. We basically treat it how the OEM would build these cars today. So we put a lot of engineering and design into it. So today we have the 1975 Corvette America car, display car. Back in May we had it in our shop and we installed all of our front rear suspension along with our electric and wiper headlight conversions to get rid of all the vacuum stuff. So I'm just going to walk through that real quick with you and then have some Q&A. So let's start up here in the front. What we've done, we have 100% bolt-on kit for the front. So you get rid of all your stock suspension and steering. We have a power rack and pinion to get rid of the steering box. We do the adjustment for you can hear? Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah.
So what we did in May is we took all the stock suspension off, and how this works is where the lower control arm channel is, we put an adapter plate in there and have a fabricated cradle that bolts to it. And then what we did was start with a clean sheet of paper. We could put all the geometry points where we wanted to, minimize bump steer, get you a nice size wheel and tire up front. So the cradle bolts to the adapter plates, and then the lower control arm bolt in. The rack and pinions on a bushed bracket that bolts in place. The coilover shock and spring will bolt right into the factory stock shock location, and it'll let you adjust your ride height. We have about a 2-inch range, so you can be almost a stock height, or you can drop it down low like this. And really the coilover shock and spring is going to give you your best ride quality. When you put the spring and shock on the same axis, it responds really well. And then the upper control arm, we did an offset forged cross shaft to get the right geometry. We basically put a lot of the caster and camber curves, like you see on the newer Corvettes, to give you that same handling and performance feel. And so everything bolts in like that. I've done a few of these kits now, installs, and you could do it in a nice Saturday, really. So going to the back's going to be a little more involved. It is an independent rear suspension system. You can use your stock differential. We have upgraded half shafts with modern CV joints, so we send you a new stub axle that'll just clip into the factory planetary. We do same thing in the front, a coilover shock and spring. We do have adjustable shocks if you like to kind of tune your car for the autocross or any kind of track events. Again, you can set your ride height. We have our own rear sway bar. And how this works, basically, there's a little bit more fabrication involved with this. Where the trailing link bracket is, we have a bracket that bolts in place. But since we have a lot of link locations, where there's a doubler plate that just weld in place, and then everything kind of bolts to it. We have a cast aluminum upper and lower cradle, so the differentials sit in that, and it's really easy to get that thing out of there because you just kind of bolt it in place. And other than that, there's some nut plates that you just drill some holes in, get it in the location, and everything. The steel cross member has a lot of strength back here. You put it in place, and then the cast aluminum cradle will bolt to it. And it's a 10-link system, so we get rid of that leaf spring in the back. We use a cross-axis pivot bushing, which is what a lot of the new Corvettes and Camaros are using. It's almost like a spherical rubber bushing. It's really slick, so everything's free to articulate and not bind up. And then what we did, we used the C6 hubs in the front and the back. We designed our own upright to get all the 10-link attachment points to it, as well as the rear interval bar end links. So it's pretty cool. It's an aluminum forged 6061 material, made in the USA. And so you can use a factory C6 brake or aftermarket brakes such as Bear or Willwood, and then bolt right in. We have a parking brake option as well for a manual. You can run the stock exhaust out the back. I mean, obviously a side pipe would be simpler, but we were able to get an exhaust routing through underneath the suspension to get your factory muffler hanger locations. And obviously, again, getting rid of the lower trailing link, you can get a much wider rim tire back here, better contact pads, more performance. And that's our complete front and rear suspension system. Now, the other kind of cool parts we do, and we've had these out a lot longer. The suspension's been out for about a year, so we wanted to partner with some of the good people at Corvette America to get on a display car, and they've been great to work with. You know, we're new to the Corvette market, so we really need to get out in front of you guys. This is the first time we've been to Carlisle. It's been an amazing show. But the other items we've had out for a couple years now for C2 and C3 is our electric headlight conversion kit. I'll show you how that works. Wayne, you want to grab the switch there? Basically what we've done, you can see how smooth and consistent the doors open and close. You know, I know a lot of vacuum stuff, people struggle with that, so. And this is something that came out of our Camaro RS kits. We kind of have a similar kit for it, and with the C2 and C3 headlights and the problems they've had, we wanted to come out with a kit. But it's real simple. You take all the vacuum stuff out of it. Our motor and gearbox and bracket kit bolt right to the factory vacuum pod locations. We give you a complete wire harness with weather pack connectors. And there's a harness that you can run alongside the frame. Up under the dash, you pull the headlight switch out. There's a blue and a brown park and headlight wire. You take our harness, plug into that, put the factory plugs into that, back in the dash. The other nice feature we did too is when they're open, if you put them in the park headlight switch location, the lights go off, but the doors stay open, so you can go ahead and detail your headlights and get them nice and clean. That way you're not staring at a bright light. So, and the other kit we've done too is an electric wiper kit. This is a modern, smaller, lighter wiper motor that we have the 5 delays for. So there's 5 delay speed, just like in a newer car, high and low speed. And it's a brand new switch that you put into your dash, and it's actually got a push button feature for your washer. So you know your washers, you know, the factory linkage and wiper blades hook up. So it's a pretty cool kit. We've had a bunch of those in the C2 and C3 wiper kits. It's really well. Wayne here is going to give you a little show and tell here. So you simply push on it, the squirters work, and it'll give, once you hit that button and release it, the wiper blades will wipe 3 times and park, just like your new car. And then as you rotate the switch, it'll give you all the delay signals. So there's like a 30-second delay in the first step, and then it gets quicker from there until you get the low speed. So it's a pretty nice kit. So, but obviously you can see the rest of the Corvette America interior parts are really nice. When we had this back in May, it was still gutted. So coming to the show and seeing their C5, C6, C install and a C3 with their new bracket kit they have over here is really slick, and their interior parts are really nice. I've been working on a lot of Corvettes here for the last few years, getting our kit developed and installed, and they make some really nice products. So. They also put a Phytech fuel injection system on it this week, so it runs really nice. We took it for a lap around the fairgrounds Thursday when not as many people were around, so it got some pretty good attention for us. But other than that, that's a quick overview of what we've installed. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to help anyone. I know I've been talking to people all weekend, and it's been great interaction with them and everything. So now's the time if you want to go over, and at the end of the show or some point during the day, come over and stick your head in here and take a look, and I'll be here all day and tomorrow to help with any questions. So anyone have any questions? Sure. I think if anything, we'd probably expand into C4, C5, and kind of tackle that market. I mean, these suspension systems are pretty complete. There's really nothing else you need, you know, brakes and wheels and other upgrades like that. But I mean, Corvette America, I can't speak for them, but I mean, I'm sure they're always going to expand their product line. So if there's something you need, the more requests, get the parts made. That's how we work too. So, yep.
What are the columns?
So we have some different options, different shock options, and then the rear, we actually the half shafts that come with this kit that you see here is rated for 600 horsepower. If you want to have more of that, we have a 1200 horsepower option, so there's some upgrades. But basically the front system, complete steering and suspension system, is going to start at $5,750. The rear is a little more involved. We even actually have an aluminum hammerhead differential for some of the track cars. That's what's in our 72 Corvette, and you can see it in our display frame in our booth behind the grandstands. But it's going to start at $850. So what we really try to do is really try to price everything while you still use your factory frame and have minimum fabrication and install work, and still come under the pricing points of the full frame extrusion. So it'll be about $14,700 for the complete base kits for front and back. So.
funny to do full time.
It is. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean the welding. I mean it's a quick job. You know, you cut and grind the frame rails where the trailing link is, weld those doubler plates in, and that's really it. And from there, it's just drilling. You know, and getting the nut plates installed, and it all bolts from there. So we really tried hard to make it as easy as we could with as minimal fabrication work. Because not everyone wants to do that. So we're actually, this fall, we're going to work on some more improvements and trying to make it even easier to get that in there without having to do too much welding and fabrication. So that'll be an improvement we'll work on here this fall. So.
One last question.
Sure.
Will you get any
Well, I mean, to me, I mean, basically, it's hard to compare because it is its own unique suspension. But I mean, if you had a comparison, it would be very similar to the C6. That'd be the kind of performance you have. You know, the C3 stock suspension, developed as long ago as it wasn't great. So a lot of people don't want to jump into it and go to the hot dog stand and get ice cream or whatever. So this is something that you could get in like a brand new Corvette, jump in and not have any suspension issues. Nice and comfortable down the road. It's not too harsh, but yet it's going to have that good feeling when you go around a corner and have some fun with it. So that's where we strive to have a good street as well as being able to perform on the track and be competitive with it. So, I mean, like I said, I've been here almost 10 years and all the products we developed and the cars I've driven, they're the funnest cars you can even think of driving. So. You're welcome.
Dan, question back here.
Okay.
So, I don't know much about cars, and I don't know much about suspensions. Like you mentioned, that can be put in about that day or weekends. So, could I do that?
You can. I mean, if I've done them. I mean.
Do I need like special tools or something?
No, the front's really, I mean, it's basically hand tools. I mean, like I said, there's all the fasteners are provided. There's really nothing to drill or even in the front. So, I mean, once you got out all the stock suspension and steering, everything bolts in, clean it up nice, and you know.
All the stock bolting and mounting locations are utilized.
Yeah, like I said, there's a cradle underneath, so we have our own lower control arm mounting area. But the shocks, the upper stock mount and the upper control arm mount are factory. You don't touch it.
Fabrication.
Nope, not at all. Like I said, we do have an option to do a fabricated upper shock mount. If you're doing some competitions with a quick spring and shock change, it makes it easier. But this is the bolt-in version. It's really simple and nice. So you can see the spanner nut there. That's how you raise and lower it. It just winds up and down the shock body threads. So we got this one pretty low, but you know you could really have about a 2-inch window of adjustment. So yeah.
Dan, do I have to put on both at the same time? I got to put
Nope.
the front and the rear on? Or can I
No, we've had a few customers just buy the front system, get that bolted in, upgraded, and later on when they want to get more involved with the rear end, they can do that separately. So there's separate partners for both. And we've had a few people do it that way. We've had a few people buy it all at once and install it. So you know, if you're doing a frame off, which I know a lot of you guys have projects and are in the middle of building cars with the body off, obviously that's the time to do everything, get the suspension installed, but you can definitely break it up. So. Any other questions?
Actually, what gets changed on the steering here? Now you're running something.
We're running a rack and pinion. Yeah, so you're getting rid of the steering box. So in the rack and pinion is mounted to that cradle. So you can run a stock power steering pump. We kind of recommend you use a newer Type 2 GM power steering pump. They work a little better with a modern rack. But we've had a couple cars drive with stock power steerings, and it's fine. So you said to use a C6 hub, so you can use C6 wheels and brakes and all that. It'll bolt right in. We didn't change the track width of the C3 in the front or the rear, so there's no changes to offsets or anything like that. And then of course back, you know, Corvette America and ourselves, we'd be happy to help you with wheel sizing, because I know that's kind of something we really want to do right. So backspace and wheel size, tire recommendations, how big, how little you can go, we can help you with that too. So. Any other questions?
Will you be serving lunch?
I wish.
Good shot.
Good thinking though. About that time. But like I said, I'll be here all day. I'll do another couple matinees at 1 and 3 o'clock if you miss anything or have more questions. And again, during the rest of the day, I'll be here to help with any questions. So, but thanks to Corvette America for allowing us to do this. It's been a great show.